Hey guys, hey, my name is Jerome Robinson of Jerome's Theory. So I just wanted to go over a little, I guess it's something I have an issue with. A lot of people give their kids candy and think that it's okay. In fact, that's an issue all on its own. But what I really have an issue with is those parents, which is most parents who give their kids candy, frown upon somebody who doesn't give their kids candy. It's like, hey, I don't want my kids to have, well, first of all, let me say I'm not trying to be an extremist, right? And I might be a little bit to a certain extent in your mind, right? So I'd encourage you to have more of an open mind and I don't want to say sympathetic ear, but just let's not be so closed-minded. I don't want to give my kids drugs, alcohol, or in this case, candy, right? When you give a child candy between the ages of 0 to 4, they're more likely to crave it when they're older. So for my older two kids, I have a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old, which are older. I think the 13-year-old is now 14, or about to be. He's about to be 14. They don't crave candy. They don't crave sweets. They do things that are not so healthy in moderation. And that's because when they were younger, I went above and beyond in this culture to make sure that they didn't eat a lot of candy or eat a lot of sweets or sugar drinks. So a lot of what they ate I didn't reward them. Like, here, have some crack with, because you got an A or because you did good. No, I've rewarded them with healthy items such as carrots or cucumbers or other healthy items, right? Bananas and sweet potatoes and things that I didn't eat when I was a kid, right? So I want to do things different. I want to do things better with my kids. So I pushed education to make sure they got the best education possible. And as a result, last year, my 13-year-old, who's about to be 14, last year when he was in 7th grade, scored one of the highest SAT scores. And in fact, he's been interviewing with Yale, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, and but he's going after MIT. He wants to be a robotics engineer of sorts. That might change, but so far that's what he's been wanting to be for a while. My younger son, my son that's younger than him, who's now 9 years old, following in his footsteps, very, very smart, very proud of him. If you ask them, hey, what do you think of broccoli? I love broccoli, they might say, or carrots or cucumbers. They like healthy food, right? So I'm not a foster parent, but I took on two younger kids, one of which, Kenyon, you're now 4. That's right, you can put it in the laundry, baby boy. And then my younger one, Tobias, who's 3, proud of them. They crave sweets, and they crave sweets because the daycare that they go to and the daycare previous to that, they give them sweets, and I think it's highly inappropriate, especially when I've requested several times for them not to. So I'd probably be shunned for this video, but by not just the daycare, but by many parents. In fact, my daughter, who is in quasi-state custody because their mother was an offending parent, basically. Did you burp? You don't want your banana? Okay, put it on the counter, baby boy. Do you want some chicken?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want some chicken too, Daddy.
Okay. Give me a moment, okay? I'm almost done. So anyway, so hold on, guys. I'm almost done. You should sit down, sweetie pie. You're not doing too well, okay? So what I don't want is I don't want my kids to be unhealthy. I want them to be very well educated. I want to push education. I like to homeschool in addition to the school that they go to or whatever learning institution that they go to. And I want them to not crave candy. And like I said, I was talking about my daughter, who is in, she was in DCF custody for a little bit because their mother, I hate to say this, but she was found passed out in a crack house with heroin needles in her diaper bag. So I got my daughter and I'm a non-offending parent, but I have to go through all the courses and all the whatever that the state makes you go through. In this case, it's Florida State. And the DCF hires companies to, I guess, to act on their behalf. And it's usually different per county or whatever. This particular one in, I think it's Hillsborough. It almost seems like they frown, not supportive of healthy nutrition. And that's, I'm not knocking them. The whole, the state, I mean, what they feed their kids in school, right? Is very unhealthy. In fact, what you feed your kids, what you allow your kids to eat, the school lunch, in many cases is a lot more unhealthy than some of the candy that a daycare would feed their students or children that go to that daycare. My point is, I definitely have an issue with them almost frowning upon a parent that wants to feed their kids healthy food. So, me as a parent, if I wanted my kids to be vegetarian, which I would love them for them to be vegetarian, I would get, it's kind of like frowned upon. So, I feed them, well-rounded meals, chicken and things like that, chicken soup and not fried chicken necessarily, but, I'm not going to say no to it. I mean, if my kids were hungry and we were next to a McDonald's, would I feed it to them? Yes, out of pure necessity, or out of, I don't want to use the word desperation, but if I had to, I would. But at the same time, if I have the option of feeding them healthier food, I would, right? So a lot of parents might feed their kids Gerber, or I don't want to knock Gerber, but a lot of food that comes in a jar, right? And what the FDA doesn't require them to tell you is that there's a lot of other ingredients in there that are horrible for you that they don't have to put on the label. So a lot of people think that just because it says just because it says orange juice, 100% pure orange juice, doesn't mean it's just pure orange juice. There's a lot of other harmful chemicals that are in there that are deadly, that they try to remove as much as possible, but the FDA doesn't require them to remove 100% because it's too much. So there are allowed a certain amount of harmful chemicals in their orange juice, right? Organic doesn't mean it doesn't use chemicals, please. Genetic. Thank you, sweetie pie. So Gerber can say, hey, we use non-GMO in their soybean formula. Well, you really can't find a non-GMO soybean because the soybean itself has been modified. You can't find non-GMO soybean anywhere. You can hardly find non-GMO wheat anywhere. So there's a lot of labels that are misleading, that don't tell you the truth, know very well that they're lying to you. Where am I going with this? I want to feed my kids healthy, and I don't want to be shunned for doing so. I want my kids to have healthy foods, non-cancer causing foods, and not be shunned for it. Don't shun me as a parent because I'm asking my daycare that I don't want to feed them candy. I don't want to put unnecessary sugar in their food. I don't, I was talking about before the baby food, Gerber or whatever, is just as easy. In fact, to me, it's easier, and it's actually less expensive to feed your kids healthy food. You can buy frozen spinach at your local grocery store. You can buy organic carrots that are a lot tastier. Don't buy the baby carrots. A lot of the nutrients are in the skin, and the skin's taken off. A lot of the nutrients are washed out of them to get them to that size. In fact, there's almost hardly any nutrients compared to what there was in there when they had their skin in there. But anyway, you can wash off the organic carrots pretty good, keeping the skin on there. You can get something that's better than a blender, like a Ninja. I think I got a Pro, the top of the line Bullet, whatever it's called. And it grinds it down to not a liquid, but pretty much a liquefied. Now that's not cool, buddy, because now you threw that piece of candy underneath the stove, and if I turn the stove on, it's gonna melt. So that's not cool. So it's not. You don't want to play with it, okay, love? All right. So just remind me. I gotta go fish that piece of candy out. It's gonna have melted plastic or melted candy everywhere, melted chocolate, whatever it is. So I'm not like totally against candy, right? I mean, I'm a little bit of it. I got you, buddy. So I'm a little bit of a hypocrite. I mean, I eat carrot cake and some ice cream, and I'm not above eating chocolate candy or whatever. But I also want to lead by example. So if I ask my kids to do it, I don't like to do it in front of them, or I don't like to do it, period, if I can help it. I certainly don't want them to do it, period, if I can help it. So, like I was saying before, a lot of that stuff is, you can make it a lot cheaper, and it's a lot easier to make it yourself. And so that's important. And I love my kids so much that I want the best for them. And smells like you pooped in your pants. Did you? Now you're sitting on me and you pooped on me. I want the healthiest. I want healthy living for my kids. I want them to eat healthy foods. And I say this because I love them and I want the best for them always. And you look sick. Your face looks sick. You need to get some rest. And you, my dear, need to change your diaper, or I need to change it for her. Anyway, I just want to tell you guys, hey. Stop giving other parents a hard time because they want to feed their kids healthy. They want their kids to be healthy. They want their kids to live right. Don't shun them. Instead, join them. Don't you want your kids to be healthy? Don't you want, I've seen some parents take a burger and put it in a mixer. What do you call it? Not a mixer, a blender, and say, hey, it's the same as baby food. When they're a baby, 2 months old, to put a burger in a blender and give it to your kid, red meat. And anyway, love your kids, and let's have a better future for them. Okay, let's love them through action, not just our words. All right, they're not a dog. Not to knock any dog. I'm a dog lover, but they're a human being and a life, and treat them like you love them. Care for them.
Mom,
all right.
Put outside.
For you as an adult or a caregiver or a state worker,
Outside.
Lead them by example. Lead them by example and love them with the bottom of your heart, the top of your heart, every which way. Because they're only going to be their age only once. Right, baby girl? Nutso.
Daddy, you guys can do.
What's that?
You guys can do.
Go for it. Do it. Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.